In a small village surrounded by green fields and a flowing river, there lived three brothers, Ion, Bilal, and Saad. They were known throughout the village for their strong bond and different personalities. Though they were raised in the same house by the same loving parents, each of them believed happiness came from a different path. Their father was a humble farmer who often said, "Happiness is not something you find outside. It grows inside you." But as the boys grew older, they began to question his words. One evening, as they sat under the old banyan tree near the river, Ion spoke first. He was the eldest and always dreamed of wealth. "I believe happiness comes from money," Ion said confidently. "If I become rich, I can buy anything I want. I won't have to struggle like father." Bilal, the middle brother, shook his head. He was ambitious but valued respect more than money. "No, Ion, happiness comes from power and position. If people respect you, listen to you, and admire you, that is true happiness." Saad, the youngest, quietly listened. He was thoughtful and kind. "I think happiness comes from peace and helping others," he said softly. "When your heart feels light and content, that is happiness." The three brothers argued for hours but reached no agreement. Finally, they made a decision. "Let us each follow our own path," Ion suggested. "After 5 years, we will return to this banyan tree and see who has found true happiness." The next morning, they left the village, each carrying different dreams in their hearts. Ion's journey, the road to wealth. Ion moved to the city determined to become rich. He worked tirelessly in a trading company, learning business skills quickly. He stayed up late, woke up early, and took every opportunity that came his way. Years passed, and his hard work paid off. Ion started his own business. He bought a large house, expensive clothes, and even a shiny car. People admired his success. When he visited markets, shopkeepers greeted him respectfully. Yet, at night, when he returned to his big house, it felt empty. He had no close friends. He barely spoke to his family. His days were filled with meetings and stress. He feared losing money more than he enjoyed earning it. One day, his business suffered a heavy loss due to a risky investment. Ion panicked. For weeks, he couldn't sleep properly. He realized that the wealth he believed would bring happiness had only brought fear and pressure. He sat alone in his luxurious living room and whispered, "Is this happiness?" Bilal's journey, the road to power. Bilal chose a different path. He joined politics in a nearby town. He was charming and intelligent, and people quickly noticed him. He gave powerful speeches and promised change. Within a few years, Bilal became a respected leader. Crowds gathered to hear him speak. His name appeared in newspapers. People stood up when he entered a room. He enjoyed the attention. He loved being called "Sir," and seeing others follow his instructions. But with power came responsibility and rivalry. Other politicians criticized him. Some tried to spread rumors about him. Bilal found himself constantly defending his image. He began to worry about what people thought of him. He stopped trusting others, fearing betrayal. His smile became rare and forced. One evening, after a long political meeting filled with arguments, Bilal returned home exhausted. He looked at his reflection and barely recognized the stressed man staring back. "Everyone respects me," he murmured, "but why do I feel so restless?" Saad's journey, the road to peace. Saad traveled to a distant town where he began working as a teacher in a small school. The salary was modest, but the children loved him. He taught them not only reading and writing, but also kindness and honesty. After school, Saad volunteered at a small clinic, helping the elderly and poor. He spent his evenings reading by the river or sharing meals with neighbors. He did not own expensive clothes or a big house, but he slept peacefully each night. When a poor student couldn't afford books, Saad used his own savings to buy them. The child's bright smile filled his heart with warmth. One day, an old man he had helped blessed him with tears in his eyes. "You have given me respect and care," the man said. "May you always remain happy." Saad realized something important. Every time he helped someone, he felt a deep sense of contentment. His happiness did not depend on money or praise, it came from within. The reunion. 5 years passed quickly. On a calm morning, under the same banyan tree near the river, the three brothers reunited. Ion arrived in expensive clothes, but his face looked tired. Bilal came in a neat suit, surrounded by assistants who waited at a distance. Saad arrived simply dressed, carrying a warm smile. They embraced each other warmly. "So," Bilal began, "who among us has found happiness?" Ion spoke first. "I have wealth, more than I ever imagined. But it brought stress and fear. I am not as happy as I thought I would be." Bilal nodded slowly. "I have power and respect. People listen to me everywhere I go. But I feel constant pressure and competition. My heart is rarely at peace." They both turned to Saad. "And you?" Ion asked. Saad looked at the flowing river before answering. "I do not have riches or power. But I have peace. I sleep without fear. I wake up with purpose. I see smiles because of small things I do. I feel happy." The brothers fell silent. Their father, now older and walking slowly with a stick, approached them. He had heard about their return and came to see his sons together again. He sat beside them and said gently, "My sons, happiness is not in money, nor in power. These things can support life, but they cannot fill the heart. True happiness comes from balance, earning honestly, living simply, loving deeply, and serving others." Ion looked at his younger brother thoughtfully. "Maybe I chased wealth too blindly." Bilal sighed. "And I chased approval from others." Saad smiled. "It is not too late. We can still choose differently. A new beginning." Inspired by their realization, the three brothers decided to combine their strengths. Ion used his business skills to open a small factory in their village, creating jobs for local people. This time, instead of focusing only on profit, he focused on fairness and quality. Bilal used his influence to improve village facilities, better roads, clean water, and a new school. Instead of chasing fame, he worked quietly for real change. Saad became the head teacher of the new school, guiding children with wisdom and compassion. Together, they transformed their village. As months passed, Ion noticed he felt lighter. Helping his community gave meaning to his wealth. Bilal found satisfaction in seeing real improvements rather than hearing applause. Saad continued spreading peace through his simple acts of kindness. One evening, the three brothers sat again under the banyan tree. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange. Ion smiled genuinely. "I finally understand. Wealth is useful, but it is not happiness." Bilal added, "Power is meaningful only when used to serve." Saad concluded softly, "Happiness grows when shared." Their father, listening quietly, felt proud. The river flowed peacefully beside them, just as it had years ago. But the brothers had changed. They no longer chased happiness as something distant. They had discovered it within themselves, in gratitude, service, love, and balance.